What's going on, everybody? I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you're staying safe. I hope you're staying inside or staying home and just using best practices as much as you can. This coronavirus thing is the real deal. You know, it's pretty scary. My wife works in the hospital, and I hear how bad it is every single day and getting worse. And it is April 5th, 2020, if someone watches this video in 10 years. So you have a reference, but definitely stay safe out there. I want to do a review on a knife that is actually carried by police, military, and I've read articles by Navy SEALs carrying this knife, and it's not the same exact model, but it's extremely similar, materials and everything. Okay, so this is the ProTech TR-3L. It's left-handed, just for me, which I love. This is some of the packaging it comes in. So it comes in this plastic wrap, ProTech, handle with care. It's very sharp. This really nice bag. I don't know if you'll ever use that unless you resell it, but it's cool. Or maybe if you travel or something, you want to put it away. I don't know. It comes with this really nice box that is magnetic. It's a nice little touch. Probably not needed, but it's a nice touch. 20th anniversary, and they started making knives in 1999 is when they opened. So I bought this last year, and I haven't done a review on it yet. I've carried it a lot though. TR-3 L-1 left hand. It's a black handle with grooves, of course. Stonewash blade, plain. There's no serrations or anything, which is what I like. So got this baby at GP Knives. You can see right there. So I do highly recommend GP Knives. I don't, solely buy all my knives from them, but I try to because they're a local business. They're not a huge corporate company. They're within an hour drive for me, so I can go there and actually handle the knives and things like that. They have great customer service, good guys. Check them out, okay? And like I said, I'm not married to GP Knives. They don't go out of their way. I don't get any free knives or anything like that. I buy from Blade HQ and other places, but I try to go to GP first, and if not, I go where I want, okay? So let's take a look at this knife overall. Then we'll talk about some of the dimensions, material. There's a giveaway on the material. And go from there. Okay? So this knife has been out for a very long time, and I read an article today by Jack Thompson on sofrep.com, and he was a Navy SEAL. He was issued a lot of different knives over his, I think, 10 years or longer. Maybe it was 20 years. I'm sorry, I can't remember. But he was issued a lot of different knives, and with the Special Forces, you have a wide variety of choices. This is one that he was issued, except instead of the TR-3L left hand, it was a TR-3X1. The X1 actually has a military part number and is a military issue knife. Okay, so the TR stands for tactical response. The X1 actually has like a fish scale pattern on both sides, which ensures a very, very good grip. So the steel is the same, action and everything else is the same. So TR-3X1 is what he wrote about, and he said it was one of the best knives he ever had in a deployment because it was really light, 3.6 ounces, 4.5 inches. It wasn't a huge knife, not too big, not too small. And now he buys this model knife, or the X1, for people, friends and family, and he'll give them a note saying, this is a knife I trusted my life with, and I want to give you one as well. So I thought that was pretty cool. They say this is, an extremely popular knife with first responders, military, police, everything else. So, which was surprising. I mean, out of all the knives out there, I don't know. I didn't know. I wouldn't think that this would be the number one choice for police and Navy SEALs or whatever. And maybe it's not number one, but it's a top choice. No doubt about it. It's one of their best sellers, and they know their customer base because they're being ordered by the military. They have a military part number, police departments, and everything else. So overall, you are looking at an 8-inch knife when this thing's open. The handle, like I said, is 4.5 inches. The blade length is 3.5. This is aluminum handles. It is a 6061 T6, which has a really nice anodization on it in black. I really, really like it. This one does have the grooves. There are different models and everything else with the handles, but I like the grooves. It's a drop point blade. I love the design of this blade. I think it does look tactical. It looks aggressive. I love the swedge right here. I'm a sucker for that, I gotta say. It was not the sharpest knife in the world when I opened it out of the box, which kind of disappointed me. So I put it on the Wicked Edge myself, and now it's super sharp. So 154 cm is okay. It is an upgrade of 440C. 154 cm has been out for a very, very long time. And yeah, I think in 2020, I would expect a different steel. But if this is being used around the world by police and military and they just absolutely love it, and, I can't argue with that. Okay. So, like I said, the weight on this thing is 3.6 ounces. It's a very light knife for what it is. The pocket clip is tip up only, so you can't reverse it or anything else. And since this one's left-handed, it's perfect for me. So you can put a lanyard on there if you want to. I'm not a lanyard guy, but you can. So the mechanism here is a push button or plunge, okay? And I'm going to show you exactly what's going on here. So there's a little spring on this side of the knife. So when I press this in, it's going to release the tang of the knife and open it up. Okay, so let's see if you can get a look here. Okay. And it's questionable. I mean, that this is used by elite people or people in life-threatening situations or whatever. This locking mechanism is, it's questionable to me. It really, really is. I don't think it would open up at all in your pocket. One guy, I think he wrote an article for SWAT magazine. He said he carried this knife for a very long time and he thought it was going to open on accident. He carried it in his back pocket, carried it with his cell phone and keys and everything else, and it never opened. Never opened. So that's good. But when it does open, sometimes it doesn't feel like the plunge locks the knife open extremely well. It's never closed on me. Now when I touch it, see, so I don't know, but look here as well. Hopefully you guys can see that. There you go. That is the only thing holding the knife open. I don't know what that measurement is, but it's very small, right? So I know that much. I'm not... Wow. I mean, that's the only thing holding that knife open, is that little bit. And maybe it's not a big deal. I don't know if anyone's ever done a test on this. It's a $150 knife, so maybe people didn't want to wreck it. But I would be surprised, like, if the military or something didn't try to do a test on this, because that's the only thing holding the knife open. Okay, which is nothing. Nothing. It's that plunge. So you are dependent on the spring working, but it is an auto, so of course there's always going to be a spring. But for example, like, this is what I'm comparing it to. So here's a Chris Reeve Cozy. It's not an auto, totally different knife, okay? It is left-handed, but look how the blade locks here. Over 50% travel across the tang, right? So you have a solid piece of titanium, and when that thing locks, I mean, I really don't think that's ever going to close. So that's what I'm comparing it to, guys. Okay. So when I see this thing open, it's just, I don't know. I don't know if I would trust my life with it out of all the knives I have, but it's great one-hand operation. It's left hand. Everything else, great. Okay, made in the United States. Love it. So, the 154 CM is okay. It does the job. It will do probably anything I need it to. I'll leave it at that. The hardness on the steel is 59 on the hardness scale. And some people call this a high saber grind, and then other people call it a flat grind. So you be the judge. I can see both sides. So overall, it's, like I said, it's very attractive. So this is anodized. The pocket clip is DLC coated, and then with a stone wash blade. So the TR-3 X1 that the seals and everything else carry are black blade, and they sell those anywhere. I mean, you can get the black blade. Okay, I want to compare this with a lot of knives because I like knives, and hopefully you do too. Maybe you have one of these knives, and it will give you a good idea of the proportion along with one that you might have. So let's bring out some popular ones. This is the PM2 left hand though. Boom, made just for me. Love it. I picked up these knives actually the same day. I went to GP Knives, I looked at both of these, and at the time I had some extra money from Christmas or whatever, and I went back and forth with them, and I just said, I'll take them both. And the guy was like, man, not gonna twist your arm there, do whatever you want. And I love the PM2. It's not an auto. It's not a metal, metal handled knife or anything like that. It's a totally different knife, but really, really love the PM2. It's extremely thin, ergonomic, light. Love it. So out of these two, I actually probably like the PM2 better than the TR-3. And actually would trust the compression lock probably more as well. So just being honest about it. Just my opinion. That's what these videos are. Okay. Don't get all up in arms on me. This is the Benchmade Super Freak. Absolutely love this knife. Also, I want to talk about the steels. This is a $150 knife. This is a $150 knife. This, I don't know. It might be like 170 or something like that. I can't remember. But here you have M4. Here you have S30V. So both superior steels when compared to the ProTech $150 TR-3. Okay. Here is the 917 Triage. I just did a review on this. This is an S30V steel as well. I already showed you the Chris Reeve and Cozy. This is like the end of the world knife for me. S35 VN steel. Okay, very, very impressive. Let's start removing some of the other ones here, and I'll move this. Actually, I want to keep this in the middle so you can kind of compare it. Here is another auto knife that I have. This is the UTX 85. I'm probably going to sell it, but this is a M390 steel, which is a great steel, very hard steel. I like the knife. It's cool. It's cool looking and everything, but I don't trust the mechanism and everything. It's never failed on me, but in a tactical situation or something, I probably would never use it. Okay, but it's a cool knife. I mean, it's fine. Kershaw Blur, just legendary. It's a knife that's been around for a very, very long time. It's assisted opening. Love the finish, everything. Super light knife. I have another one that I just beat the crap out of, and it just keeps going. I love it. Let's see what else we got here. I have the Presidio Mini, which I just did a review on. This is a limited edition M4 steel. Okay, so very, very similar in size, even though it's the mini. The full size is just a tank. And then the last thing I want to compare it with is something, I guess what I expected. When someone says there is a knife out there that the military absolutely loves, Navy SEALs have written articles about them after their retirement, and someone wrote for SWAT magazine. And I'm not talking about the brand or anything else. I just mean the design of the knife. I would expect something like this, right? Also legendary, Recon 1. So this is what I've been carrying. I'm going to carry it for a while and do a review soon. S35VN steel, by the way. So, this is kind of what I expected. Super, super aggressive grip, finger choils, upgraded steel, larger blade. There's a little swedge there. You're looking at a spear point there. But this is what I expected when you hear about a knife that has a reputation like that. And this knife is, I don't know, it just feels kind of small. So it's interesting, to say the least. But now you got to see it compared to some of the knives that you may own yourself. And let's just go over some of the pros and cons to finish it up. So the design and everything else is very attractive. I love the blade, the handle, the finish. Everything looks good. The fit and finish is fantastic on this knife. Okay. The centering, just everything. It does have jimping, like I said, on the back here, and then underneath. But it's not an extremely grippy knife. Okay. But it looks fantastic. The action is second to none. Extremely snappy. I love it. Every single time it just fires, and it has a lot of power. It really, really does. It's made in the USA. I'm a sucker for that because I live in the USA and I like when something is made in my country. It is what it is. I know there's a lot of knives that are legendary. People rave about them, like this one, the Recon 1. But when I see that it says Taiwan, I just don't like it as much. So I like knives that are made in the USA. But you're looking at $89, $150. Okay. There is a difference there. There is a difference. You have to pay American workers to put this together. All right. So let's talk about some of the cons. This is nitpicky, but it does bother me. So here you have torque screws, which is probably most common on knives, I would say. And then on the scales here, you have hex or Allen screws there. And I would just say use all one or the other. I wouldn't mix match them. So most of the knives, like I said, like this one I just picked up, has torque screws on the scales and torque screws on the pocket clip. Okay. The pocket clip's not extremely deep carry, but for the design of the knife, that's as deep as you're going to get. Okay, because you're running out of room right here. They probably could have used a little bit of jimping on here as well. But it works. People love it. They say a lot of people use this for a vest, for a pocket on their chest or something, and then it's one hand open, and when you need a knife, you're ready to go. Okay. So as far as a quick deployment and everything else, I don't know if many people do it better, right? ProTech is at the top of their game there. I do feel like in 2020 for $150, I do expect a better steel. Like I said, they just celebrated last year, their 20th anniversary, and they came out with one of these with S35VN, but they only made 200, and that's, I don't know. And other brands are just putting that on every single knife they have, or S30V, M4, 20CV, whatever. But I do feel like the steel should be better. But I can't argue with the SWAT and Navy SEALs because I am not one. Okay. So it's easy to sharpen. Unfortunately, I had to sharpen it when I took it out of the box. I wasn't very impressed with that. But I put it on the Wicked Edge and it's good now. It's sharp. Okay. One thing I also read, and if I'm wrong, please correct me, and it almost looks like you could see them there, is that it has nylon washers. And from what I read online is people say if you want to, probably voids the warranty, keep that in mind, you can put bronze phosphor bushings in there, or the washers rather, and you can replace the nylon because people are worried about the nylon warping or just wearing out over time, over years of use. But nobody's actually, I haven't seen anything online about it actually wearing out. I've also read about this thing being in mud and sand and it just keeps working. So can't really argue with that. As an exaggerated example, the Incosi has oversized bronze phosphor washers there. You see those? So it still keeps all the grit and everything out because of how tight the tolerances are. But that's what I would expect, and a knife like that. So I was kind of shocked that it has nylon, but I have heard with the bronze phosphor that you have to oil or grease it, to maintain, um, I guess, the integrity, or just so it doesn't corrode or anything like that, which is not super likely, but it can. I've heard of it rusting if you don't take care of your knife. Chris Reeve lets you take your knife apart. He gives you tools to do it and the lube for your knife, which is pretty cool. So maybe they're not expecting people to do that, so they just have a nylon which you can run dry, in comparison with the bronze phosphor bushings. I don't know. I don't work for ProTech and I don't talk to them or anything like that, but I am shocked for $150 to have 154 cm steel and nylon washers. Kind of shocked by that. Um, this knife, like I said, is very sleek. I would carry this knife. And I plan on doing that more and more. I think it's a small knife also for like an office setting. It's not extremely scary or anything when it's closed. If you open it, people might freak out a little bit, but that's whatever. That's their problem. You wear this to a wedding, something like that. It's pretty small, but it still, I think, packs a punch and could do anything you need it to do. Okay. So overall, I really, really like the knife, and I just wanted to present it for what it was. Okay. And this is the ProTech TR-3L. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Hit the subscribe button below if you guys want to see more videos like this, or if you like knives. I have a lot more knives to review, and I plan on doing that very soon. So have yourselves a great night. And again, stay safe out there. Use best practices to prevent catching the coronavirus, because it is very, very bad. There's hospital employees right now on ventilators my wife works with, and it's very, very scary. So again, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Have a good night.